of today as well as the future. So we'll start with a small prayer. Vasudeva Paravedam Vasudeva Paramakaham Vasudeva Parayogam Vasudeva Parakriyaham Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapaham Vasudeva Paro Dharmo Vasudeva Paragatihi Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, purpose over pleasure. I'm associated with this youths, younger generation of devotees, even though I am 47. I have the service of being associated with youths as a part of my services over here. And we have a team of around 35, 40 youths in our community, whom we call them as Vanara Sena, meaning the servants of Lord Ram. Vanara Tava Kinkara. So this youth engagement is one of the most satisfying as well as enriching services that I'm associated. Get to learn a lot and get to learn both sides of the world. So in India, there is something called as Gen Z language. So this Gen Z language is something that is not something that we are not very familiar with. But then, because of dealing with the youths, get to hear them quite often from someone or the other. There is a very famous phrase that is amongst the youth today. Is called Delulu is the Solulu. Not sure how many of you have heard that. Delulu is the Solulu, meaning delusion is the solution. Second word that I got myself educated is YOLO. YOLO means you only live once. Because you live only once, enjoy as much as you want. So the fundamental philosophy where the current generation, those who are not exposed to spiritual culture, is centered on only one thing. How can I maximize the pleasure that I derive? And it can be at any cost. Meaning, I should be able to enjoy at every point in time. My pleasure is my only goal. I get it by intoxication, I get it by cheating, I get it by compromising certain values which our tradition has been subscribing. I would always want to be happy. So much so that there is a community called Dink community. I'm not sure how many of you have heard this. Dink community or Dinkwad or Dinkwhack, meaning dual income, no kids with a dog. It's called Dinkwad. Dual income, no kid with a cat. Meaning the reason why they have formed a community is that I do not want any kind of obligation, any kind of pressure, any kind of responsibility that comes in the way of my pleasure. Is this all right? Where these thoughts are coming from and how Krishna consciousness is giving another perspective where pleasure is not compromised, but we have a meaningful and a very accountable, responsible living. So, the next 40 minutes, I'd like to share some thoughts around this, and then probably we can pick up some questions for discussions. First of all, where is this propensity of wanting to be enjoying coming from? Is it wrong to always seek pleasure? If you go and ask anyone, why do you do this? The standard answer is, this is my choice. And in my choice, I do not give prerogative to anyone but for me. So all the individuals, especially the younger ones, centered around my choice. It is when do I have to get married? It's my choice. What dress I'll have to wear? It's my choice. What profession I want to go? It's my choice. When do I want to, go away from the marriage? It's my choice. What do I eat? My choice. Who friends? My choice. So is this my choice always the right choice? Is experimenting the right way of learning? Is seeking pleasure without any associated commitment? Is it acceptable? So my first question or first part of this session is to understand, where is this pleasure seeking propensity coming from? And this pleasure seeking potency or propensity is the inherent characteristics of a spirit soul. I would not want to get into that territory where, to discuss who are we, assuming that you're all, enthusiastic, young, uh, curious youths who are attending programs regularly and at least know that we are not this body but spirit soul. That's another $1,000,000 question, which people are, still discussing. So the idea is that I am spirit soul, and one of the characteristics attribute of a spirit soul is to be happy. And where is that propensity coming from? It's coming from the super soul, who is Krishna, who always want to be, who is always independent and always happy. Sat Chitananda Vigraha. So the inherent nature of the soul is to love, to seek pleasure. But then, is seeking pleasure only at any cost, without a purpose of life, without the principles associated, without proper accountability, responsibility? Is it advisable and is it relevant? So, there's a theory that I would like to present called facility versus responsibility. If you analyze this world, whenever any facility is provided to anyone, they are always associated with some responsibilities. A facility is given means you are given some associated responsibilities. For example, if I am a general manager in an organization, I am given certain facilities. I am given a secretary. Probably I am given a vehicle with a chauffeur. Probably I am given a special privilege in my wages for certain benefits. Suppose if I say I will enjoy all those benefits, facilities, but I am not interested in the associated responsibility of a general manager, the facility is withdrawn. Every time any facility we get, whether it is money, power, position, name, fame, followers, support, any kind of facilities that are provided to us, which very clearly establishes that
मैंने कहा
facility,
कि क्या प्रभु जी
facilities are always associated with responsibilities. This theory is universally applicable even to the living entities. Compared to animals, human beings have more facilities. So which means compared to animals, human beings have more responsibilities. Compared to animal and human beings, demigods, who happens to be administrators under the Supreme Lord, have got more facilities and they have more responsibilities. So just because I have this human form, just because I am born in a particular circumstances, I will enjoy all the facilities, but I am not ready to take any responsibility is definitely a social crime. We will be held responsible by the nature. We may not directly see the impact, sometimes instantly, but such a propensity not only puts us in trouble, but it puts the entire generation after that. The second theory that I want to say is that all those who are seeking pleasure are not necessarily contented. Meaning, if you study that if pleasure alone made people happy, then why do big celebrities, accomplished people still feel depressed? Today, the statistics of apparently socially successful people, the psychology of them is that they are under extreme pressure and depression to always stay put there, and that pressure completely destroys the pleasure that they were seeking. Meaning, if pleasure alone will give happiness, why do we stop anyone? Let us also get into that. But the reality is, the experiences, the statistics are that pleasure alone doesn't give happiness. In fact, when I want to enjoy alone, I'm not happy. For me, the word enjoyment means I need people around. You take any celebrations, you say birthday celebrations, anniversary celebrations, success party celebrations, or the festoons, or the decorations, or the costumes. Are they going to decide how happy I am going to be? Or are the people who are going to be part of my family, my celebration, my by my side, are going to add pleasure? So the second theory that I want to register here is pleasure alone doesn't make people happy. So as I said in the beginning, this delulu is the solulu, meaning delusion is the solution. That theory that is doing rounds amongst the Gen Z here is coming from a very simple situation, saying that the reality is very tough. When I have to face the reality, I have to compromise on many of those things. So better let me remain delusional. I don't need to understand anything. Don't tell me too much. It's an ostrich mentality. I put my head inside the sand and everything else is fine. When I close my eyes, I don't see a problem. So by remaining delusional, we are inviting trouble than we are trying to solve. So the second theory that I want to say is that seeking only pleasure at any cost adds only depression, pain, and dissatisfaction. We may have a smile, a fake smile, but then we are definitely not happy. All that glitters are not necessarily gold. So, all smiling, famous, successful celebrities may not necessarily are happy. Number three, the third theory that I want to say is that success, happiness comes only when we are serving someone. As I said in the beginning, the characteristics, nature of the spirit soul is to serve, to love, and to remain happy. So, unless and until I extend myself to someone, I give my love to someone, I serve someone, I am not satisfied, I am not happy, even though apparently I may feel some, excitement. So when I learn to serve others, when I learn to love others, when I'm learning to, support others, that's when my real happiness I experience. It could be a very simple act of, support, extending help to someone. When you see them satisfied, when you see them accomplished, when you see them successful, you feel pleased. That is why people derive pleasure when they are even dealing with pets. Because when you serve them, when you look after them, so you feel satisfied. But then it is if by serving a pet you feel satisfied, what is speak of serving, your children, serving your society, serving your family, serving your nation, serving your friends, serving your colleagues. And here serving refers to extending yourself to them. So these three theories are something that we need to remember. These three theories will help us in trying to draw some conclusion today. So, my dear friends, this YOLO generation is a very risky generation. You live only once. You only live once is a very misleading philosophy. Just by making some statements by a popular celebrity, we get carried away. But when we get to know the reality, we feel cheated. But that time, it's too late. So hence, let's agree to one thing, that as a human being, I deserve to be happy, but I yearn to earn my happiness through a purposeful life. I repeat, I yearn to earn my happiness through a purposeful life. So, as a younger generation, leaders of today and tomorrow, to save ourselves from so many wrong decisions. Let us learn a purposeful living. Let's go back a little history. Why generally people are lost today? Because too many options bring in confusion. Pressure to enjoy now, burn you out later. Success without meaning can only cause anxiety. The reality is, we have career pressure. We look for validation from social media. We have relationships without clarity. So unless and otherwise, we seek some bona fide direction, we are actually wasting this human form of life, which is meant for understanding the higher dimensional science. Arjuna is a very great warrior, very successful, very capable, highly educated, technically have all the tick marks of the younger generation. But he got confused. He couldn't choose what will give him happiness. He couldn't choose which way is the right way of living. He absolutely got confused to the extent that his own bow and arrow fell off his hand. My dear Krishna, I have never experienced such a state. Now I am helpless. Sishyasteham satimam tvam prapannam. So let us look at the solution side of it. We have enough stated how pleasure alone is not going to help with so many points that we just discussed. Let's look at, so what do we do? What do we do? Should I remain confused? And where do we start? So the very first thing that I would like to say is, confusion is not necessarily a weakness. Probably, if you know to direct your confusion and seeking solution for that confusion in the right way, it is the starting point of purpose. Meaning, my house had been unclean. When I start cleaning the house, lot of mess will come up, lot of dirt will come up, lot of things will become chaotic. But that chaos is good because some cleaning is happening. That is why I appreciate this youth period, because this is where we are posed with so many questions, both by the outside world and as well as from within. Why this? Why that? Why not this? Why not that? Why this way? Why not that way? So when you are confused, if we direct the confusion in the right, direction, who knows? Will come out colorful. The challenge is how to seek the right direction. So my first point towards the solution is, are we confused enough? Are we even have questions? Are we even thinking, is this the right way? Arjuna's one of the most appreciated quality was he doubted himself. Sometimes we don't doubt ourselves. We are so confident about ourselves that we land up in doing something wrong confidently. So the second aspect is confusion associated with doubting our own ability. Not that we are undermining that, we are having an inferiority complex. No. This doubt is to only doubt or needing validation for what I am thinking. I am thinking in one particular way. It is logically correct. It is sounding very interesting. It is seemingly cultured. It's all. You look at Arjuna's decision. He was very proud at one point in time, thinking that how sane I am. I am saving bloodbath. I am saving military money. I am saving my family members. I am being very, saintly by not choosing the war. But what was Krishna's response? Krishna said, even though you speak like a saintly person, you are a fool. Asosyanan vachosatvam prajnavadamscha bhashase katasuna katasumscha nanuchoshanti pandita. You're speaking like a pandita, my dear Arjuna, but that isn't, that's not, correct. It's foolish. So sometimes all those logically correct, convincing statements may come out of our mental concoction. So hence, you sometimes don't go only by your gut feeling, even though we might need to use them quite regularly. We need validation from someone. Am I in the right path? Am I doing something correct? So, confusion with doubt will give a very strong impetus, very strong motivation when this confusion and doubt gets associated with a quality called sincerity. I am definitely do not want to go in the wrong direction. That much I am clear. Because when he previously defined about the pleasure that the youth or younger generation, nowadays generation are seeking is pleasure at any cost. I just want to redefine that word saying that instead of pleasure at any cost, I will seek pleasure responsibly. We are not saying let us not seek pleasure. Then we cannot, exist. Because the nature of the soul is to, seek happiness. But at any cost, to being responsible. So the CDS, I get confused, or at least I bring in confusion by asking more questions. And I have a doubt to not just go by what I think is correct, where I seek validation or some affirmation or some direction for which I need sincerity. Sincerity here refers to that I am definitely needing pleasure, but through a responsible and a correctly directed arrangement rather than just at any cost. So Krishna's response to Arjuna, this is for all those who are spiritual scholars in this forum. If you have regularly read Bhagavad Gita, or at least you have read once Bhagavad Gita, if I can ask this, what is the first instruction Krishna gave Arjuna? I mean, what is that? Because when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, when Arjuna said, my dear friend, initially he said, my dear friend, please take me to in front of the war, so let me go and see who are all there. And later, he converted the friendship to a devotional engagement, where he said, Sishyasteham satimam tuam prapannam. When Krishna accepted Arjuna as a student, what is the first instruction, first advice, first direction that Krishna gave to Arjuna? Anyone? This is from Bhagavad Gita. Yes?
Prabhuji, I think it is that we're not the body, we're the soul, so don't think that you're killing like the relationship
That's a
because
good
it's
try.
eternal.
That's a good try. Anyone else? Yes, Krishna?
I guess it's like when Lord Krishna says like everyone is going to die, like you, me, and everybody else. And then there will be no today, no tomorrow, and something like that.
Good try too. I mean, these are all instructions that definitely Krishna gave, but I'm looking at the very first one. Have you all heard this verse? Matra sparshastu kaunteya sidoshna sukhadukkada agama paino nityastam titikshasva bharata. This is verse number 214, if I'm right, or 213, Bhagavad Gita. What does that verse says? My dear Arjuna, learn to tolerate the urges, because for any responsible, accountable living, we need to learn to tolerate our urges. We need to learn to tolerate and regulate our feelings. There is a word called instinct. There is a word called intellect. Anyone who operates, functions based on instinct alone, that's how animal functions. They use their intelligence based on their instinct. A male dog sees a female dog. There is no discrimination, only enjoyment. A male monkey sees a female monkey. No, Prabhuji, nowadays there are training, all those things are okay, but in general, what is the frame of mind? Is sensual. That's instinct. I see a food. I do not ask whether it is offered, whether it is useful, whether it is healthy, whether it is. I just see a food I want to eat. That's instinct. What is intellect? I just ask a question. Maybe 1, 2, 4. I ask questions. Is it suitable, relevant, relatable, acceptable? Intellect. So the very first thing towards going towards the right direction, Arjuna was given an advice. My dear Arjuna, please learn to tolerate. There will be so many urges. There will be so many impulsive thinking. Hold on, hold on. Pause. We will do it. We will get there. Let's just only think for a minute. The nature of sense gratification is such that the nature of this societal arrangement is such that they don't want you and me to think, because they know if you think and analyze, the answer is different. That is why Delulu is the Solulu. Keep people in delusion, thinking that everything is all right. But finally, when we know the reality, it's a disappointment. So, if we are seriously interested in progressing in devotional life, then we need to make sure that we have a very good sense of able to tolerate our urges. But that's not easy. But that's not, something that I'm trained. So that's when comes a choice of a very good friend in my life. A friend in need is actually a friend indeed. For us today, friendship is limited to someone who supports what I want. But Krishna, being the real friend for all of us, being a real friend of Arjuna, he is giving the right direction. He's saying, no, this is not correct. He's saying, yes, this is correct. He's saying, I am available to you to support you, help you. After speaking the entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna that I have spoken to you enough, clarified you all your points. But if you still have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Even if you want me to repeat all these instructions once again, I am available to you. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Upadrishta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. He says, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna is witnessing all our activities, Upadrishta. Krishna is sanctioning activities based on our desire. And he is actually the enjoyer, whilst we are thinking we are the ones. So he is giving company to each and every one of us as super soul and ready to be our friend to guide. Are we ready to accept Krishna as our friend? So my point towards choosing the right direction is, can I choose a right friend who is not an S-boss person, who is not a person who will say yes to everything that I say, who is not a person who will pat my back and say that go ahead, I'm with you. Even though I'm doing nonsense, he is not my real friend. Rather, he is apparently my enemy because he is not wishing well for me. I want to steal, yes, I'm supporting you. I want to rob, I'm supporting you. I want to rape, I want to, do anything wrong, I'm with you, don't worry, go ahead. Let's enjoy. When it comes to taking the reactions, no, I'm not interested. So hence, let us choose a right friend. Arjuna chose Krishna. Devahuti chose Kapila. History has got so many references. The friend could be our own family members. could be our own spiritual guide, could be our own buddies. But the principle of choosing a friend is that I help when you are in your low, and you help me when I'm in the lows. When both of us are in lows, let us go and seek somebody else's direction. Meaning, I will not let you fall, you don't let me fall. We hold each other's hand and try to validate each other, because when two people are together with one purpose, the possibility of confusion, the possibility of being misdirected is less, unless both have chosen to be remaining stupid. That is why a very good friendly relationship is very important in devotional life. So I used to always encourage our congregation devotees here that we need to create a healthy, friendly relationship amongst devotees, because they are our hope. So please remember that for us to lead a, a very correct directional life, we choose a right friend who is asking us right questions and not letting us do anything wrong. And last but not least, spiritual life does not mean we give up enjoyment. We need to know spiritual life means regulated enjoyment, regulated pleasure, aligned with purpose. Not just sense suppression, but sense purification. So it is imperative for all of us to remember that in our devotional life, we need to learn to practice spirituality. So I would end with the last principle for us to lead a purposeful life is start small but consistent. If we are able to do one act of responsible living consistently, we are able to leave behind 10 nuisances, nonsenses, and able to see some ray of hope and light. Unfortunately, consistency is seen as repetition, consistency is seen as boring things. But please note, consistently doing an act of responsible behavior puts so many acts of wrong decision behind, and we are able to make progress. The challenge for all of us is being inconsistent, because you sow a thought to reap an action, you sow an action to reap a habit, you sow a habit to reap a character, you sow a character, you reap a destiny. So what thought you have will eventually decide your destiny. The idea is that how much consistent I am with those thoughts, how much prudent I am thinking that these thoughts are useful for me. So the last principle that I want to say is that can we as younger generation somehow try to be consistent in our spiritual directions which we get from our friends and our seniors to counteract our confusions and doubt. So this consistency will actually completely collapse our propensity of lethargy, our propensity of procrastination. So this consistency in what I am doing, I will do only X amount, small activity, but consistently. Just that one small caveat is consistently growing, not that we are stagnant. Prabhu, for the past 7 years, I am chanting one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is not called consistency. It is called stagnancy. Yeah. Consistency means I am consistently growing, making some progress, making some advancement. So hence, consistency is something that we need to inculcate. So to summarize our conversation, we spoke about pleasure alone and their associated attributes. And we spoke about 6 principles or 6 aspects which will help us to set the right purpose. Number 1 is let the confusion come in. Let's start to get confused by asking questions. Let us try to question ourselves and try to see what is correct, what is not correct. That apparent confusion triggered from within, associated with we doubting ourselves. Not in the sense that I doubt my ability, but I doubt my decisions because I need some validation. Associated with sincerity. These 3 trigger will help the remaining 3. The remaining 3 is learn to tolerate the urges, because if you want to do anything great, anything substantial, urges have to be tolerated. Every celebrity, every sportsman, every athlete, they are trained to tolerate their urges by saying that eventually they are going to get the result. So for their life's goal, they are tolerating the urges. They also have urge to eat. They also have urge to have fun. They also have urge to have their things. But then because they are mission oriented somehow, they have some temporary mission or personal mission or selfish mission. To that extent, they are, correct. But I'm saying, as practicing devotees, as sincere seekers of truth, let's learn to tolerate our urges, because you tolerate now to succeed later. And I am not able to tolerate alone, so I have a friend, I have a companion, I have buddy who are ready to help me when I'm doing anything wrong. So choose that friend who can be, hey, no, let's not do this, let's do this, this is correct, it's not correct. If you have such a friend, then it's a blessings. Half of the time we have friends who are party with our nonsense. So we have the a right friend, and Krishna is one of them. So when I learn to tolerate, when I have the right friend in my spiritual life, I will definitely make progress when I learn to know that sense suppression is not the agenda, is sense purification. So let us try to start something to purify my senses by a consistent behavior. I will start something small but consistently, so that it becomes my routine, it becomes my habit, it becomes my lifestyle, and I am defined by them. So this pleasure over purpose, or purpose over pleasure. So we are always confused. Which one supersedes what? Many times people choose pleasure over purpose. But here we want to say purpose over pleasure, because we are accountable, responsible creatures. Human being, if they do everything exactly like that of an animal, there is no great fun. So let's try to become a responsible, accountable person. And the beauty of this is you will see the result very soon in your own life. You would not require anybody else to prove this. So, thank you all so much to have given me this opportunity to present something. Not sure how much I made sense. I'm not sure how much, I was irrelevant to this context. But please feel free to ask any questions, comments, or reflections that you may have. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much, Broji, for such an inspiring and enthusiastic class on how we can drive ourselves onto a right path and the obstacles we can face while trying to be in the right path. So if anyone has any other any questions, comments, or reflections, they can raise their hands. Krishna, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I had a question that could we try to avoid pleasure, knowing that pleasure is like temporary in this world, but also it's like the soul's instinct to have pleasure, and also like you said that directing it in the like right direction and also having pleasure in that, is that like the only way to avoid pleasure with without purpose, and or is there any other way to avoid pleasure?
Okay, can we avoid pleasure, because of the, risks associated with that? No, we cannot. Because the constitutional nature of the soul is to seek happiness. The pleasure seeking propensity, as I said in the beginning, actually comes from Krishna. We are Krishna's part and parcel. The only thing is that we are seeking pleasure in the wrong place. So the only thing that we need to remember is that I am in a wrong location by design, by my wrong choices. Otherwise, I have full rights to seek, pleasure and happiness. Now, with respect to your second point, is purifying them, putting them in the right direction is the only way. I do not know any other way, because if there is only right or wrong, there is nothing in between. The point is, if you do anything in between, it's only temporary. Either you choose one way or the other. Being in the middle is only the confused state. And confused state, nobody remains pleasure, unless otherwise you are delusional. That's exactly what people are trying to say. That nobody is saying what we are saying is wrong. And nobody is also justifying, at least those who are sane enough, that what they are doing is right. But they are not able to accept the right, not able to give up the wrong, so they choose to remain in between. And that in between stage, they just say, okay, let me put it behind in the back burner. I'll figure it out later. I do not want to talk about it now. I'll just postpone it now. I just procrastinate. And to that extent, we get that pleasure for that, moment of procrastination. But that's short lived. So, intelligent, but that's why I said I use the word tolerance, I use the word right friend, and a consistent behavioral change. Because today I got addicted to a particular lifestyle based on my different yardsticks. My today's yardsticks, my reference point of happiness, success is based on, so many different things. Today I have my own ideology, right? Like I need validation. How do I get validation? If social media, I have followers, which means I think that my activities are validated. But unfortunately, such a following is very delusional, because it may just give, I mean, if you are selling a product, if you are selling a service, if you are running a business, such a validation is appreciated. But your own lifestyle, do we get validation from social media? Oh, I am thinking of sleeping till 9 o'clock in the morning. What do you guys think? Huh? So you have 500 likes. Oh, which means I got a validation that 500 people are agreeing to my sleeping till 9 o'clock. So that's very delusional. And relationships without clarity. I do not know. Yesterday I was, when I was preparing for this, I I got to learn so many, Gen Z words and so many Gen Z related, points that sometimes it is a bit scary because we just only base our activities based on sensual pleasure, but we have in mind, we have intelligence, we have soul. So those reality, when we get to know them, it's too late. So hence, to answer that, the only way I could suggest is to regulate and to direct them rather than suppressing them, because if you suppress them, it will come again and bother you. So as of now, I tolerate the desire to go in this direction, which is apparently instantaneous, but not very good for me. But I choose to go in this direction where the result may not necessarily be instantaneous, but I will definitely get to see the result. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Krishna says, Susukam, you will get absolute happiness, absolute pleasure when you know the secret, which is to take shelter. Am I making some sense here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hare Krishna.
Tirth?
Haribol Prabhu, with my experience and all that as a senior, I have one suggestion, or the other question is also suggestive.
Sure.
You have mentioned very nicely and very nicely through the Gita and all that. This is my first day to attend. And the thing you said that as a friend should be like a friend, and he is indeed, yes, that is very much correct. Like if I am rich and my friend is not that much, or my friend is rich and I am not that much, so I should not do something, buttressing him. Oh yes, what you are doing is very correct, this and that. No, it's my duty. What comes to my mind is not right. I have to bring it to his notice that this is not right, and whatever he don't want to do, and I have to bring to his notice that this is the right you should do, this is right not to do. So that one is very nicely you have explained. Now, next suggestion is in question form, that you said that facility and our responsibility. That is correct. Facility and responsibility, I can put it responsibility and authority. Responsibility and authority. As a salesman, it's my just personal experience. When I go to the market with a team or alone, and the customers give counter offer, and I know that up to what extent I can accept his offer. But sometimes I feel I should take some responsibility to take some authority that, okay, if I'm going to give him, let's say about 1% or 10% discount or something, you know. So I should take that authority. And I know that I will convince to my boss that this is the thing. Let us accept this one. And I have already agreed. And when I go to the office, boss understand, and he say that no, it is not very much correct, but you have done. I accept it, your responsibility, because I am the head and I see it. In that one, you know what happened? That next time when I go to the customer, he feel happy and give more and more business. One business, you know, I just wind up my own business almost a year back. One customer, he said, give me your product only $10, $15. Oh, I said, my God, your shop is so big, and where it must be at least $500. I gave him $15. Okay, take it. And believe me, next month when I went there, I saw a same product from the different manufacturer, from different brand, about $500. I brought to his notice that, look, this is very much correct, what you have bought. And the other day, I gave you just $10, $15. I said that you will understand. And I said to him very clearly that this product you have bought $500 is not good quality. Whatever the price you have got is okay. But next time you try my own, like that quantity, and I'll tell you what you will get out of that is my personal experience, not that I'm just putting any story. So next time he gave me the order of 500, and he really realized that other product is not selling well because of the quality. I didn't ask him the price. I advised him that with my product, your other product will also sell, but make sure that you don't add more of that, getting tempted that if I give you item of $10, you sell $15. He's giving $8, and that also you sell $15. No, you have to be reasonable to the customer. Customers are not fool. So that's how is my business experience. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I'm very much grateful for your all this, the way you have suggested, and I'm very much grateful. Thank you.
Hare
Sorry
Krishna.
to take long time. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thanks
Hare
for your
Krishna.
sharing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you
Any
very
other?
much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, do we have time for any more questions?
Yeah, sure. Go
So
ahead,
if
talk.
anyone else has any questions, comments, or realizations, they can ask. Prabhuji, I had a question. So like people in general, or especially like youth level, they're not really ready to accept the fact that they should receive validation or any correction or even any um like I don't know how to say it, but like mainly validation or any correction like from others or seniors, even to their parents. They think that they should just deal with themselves, like listen to what they say, and then if someone tries to correct them, they'll start like acting out of sense or like start being too furious. So then how can we like deal with that situation and actually be like open-hearted to listen to those?
Okay, so it's a very tough question and a very very valid question, because the okay, those who are, because I have taken up Krishna consciousness when I was in my when I was in my seventh grade. I was in my age 11 when I took, so it's 36 years in Krishna consciousness. I have been through different phases of life. May have not been the similar circumstances that you are all growing, but for sure, in terms of that age related impulses were the same. Maybe the way we seek pleasure, the opportunities and the arrangements may have been different. One thing that we need to, I mean, it's I agree. Philosophically, it's correct. It's explainable. To put into use, we need to have some knack. Let me first philosophically explain. If you don't take validation now, we will feel ourselves stupid later. So if you are choosing no validation, let me touch the fire and experience. I will see how the actual fire burns. So then everyone will call us fool. They say, there's a saying, a person who does correct things looking at others' mistake is first class. A person who does correct things after learning from his first mistake, his own mistake, is second class. A person who learns after being told, please don't do this because this is wrong, this is third class. A person does not want to learn even after being told is fourth class. A person who not only learn for himself, but he disrupt others from learning is fifth class. And we need to be very clear that we are surrounded by fifth class men. As much as I want to be an entrepreneur, as much as I want to be a successful businessman, as much as I want to be rich, as much as I want to be healthy, as much as I want to be happy, we need to remember that they all come with a very heavy price of sacrifice, patience, tolerance, and very much important is trying to learn from an experienced person. Why do athletes have coach? An athlete, maybe a newbie, require a coach. But if you see, even the most accomplished player in the sports have a coach. Why? Because a coach helps you stay afloat. So if we have an impulsive thinking of not needing validation, at least let's agree then that I am also ready for the risks associated with that. If risks are okay to me, which includes something that I lose my most valuable part of my time, most valuable part of my life, most valuable earnings in my life, then nobody can stop such a person. But that's not intelligence. If I am an athlete, if I want to succeed, I better go by a coach. Here I have not even suggested a coach. I am at least saying, at least let me ask a good friend. Choose a good friend. Because what happens is that we as an individual do not want to be wrong. Our problem is we think what is wrong as right. By design, I cannot accept anything that is wrong. I am programmed in such a way that I will only do things that I feel it right. But the challenge, the mistake, where is it happening? What is currently classified as wrong is perceived as right for me, or it is very much subjective to certain situation that I consider them as right for me. That's where somebody external need to challenge us. Hey, wait, just wait, think. Somebody is telling you not to think. Somebody is telling you think. No, don't think. Go ahead. Somebody says think. And we are having necessary ingredients, just that we don't use them. By design, Prabhupada used to say, by design, we are constitutionally servant of Krishna. We have natural instinct to be a devotee, just that it is covered by a layer of illusion. So this thinking will rip that layer of illusion. So the society is forcing us not to think. They are constantly, putting one thing over the other so that we stop thinking. And all these sessions will only help us think. Am I making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much for the elaborate answer. Prabhuji, there's no more raised hand, so can we wind up our session?
Yes, dear. Thank you all so much. And in fact, it's a pleasure to be in this forum. And I hope you all are eagerly and enthusiastically, interested in learning. So please note that already you are a celebrity. The definition of a celebrity is that one who is in the right path, one who has the right vigor, and one who is rare. The rascals are rare, so do celebrities. In between, everybody is confused. So let us not remain a rascal. Let us not remain confused. By you doing what you are doing, which very less people are doing, you will or you are a celebrity and will guide many, many people if you continue doing what you're doing. I'll pray to Krishna. May you be blessed with enough intelligence to lead this life in a very responsible manner. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we can end the session and see you all sometime soon. Bye.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.